Okay, today what we're going to be doing is looking at systems of inequalities. This is the way you're probably going to be tested. They're either going to give you equations or inequalities and expect you to tell them what the equations are, or they're going to give you equations and you're supposed to match the graphs. Okay, so we've got to come up with two inequalities. So the first thing that I'm going to do is come over here. I'm going to label this one as 1. Now, we do already know that this is a solid line. So when we're writing the equation, you're going to find the M, the B, line type, and which way it's shaded. Now, if I were you, I would look at the line type and the shading first, and then you can eliminate some of your answer choices. Okay, since this is a solid line, we know it's going to have a line underneath the inequality. Okay, so this is a solid line, so we know it's going to have the line under the inequality. We also know that it's shaded below the line. Okay, so this is below. So we know it's going to be a less than or equal to. Okay, so knowing that, you know one line is a less than or equal to, and then the other line is a dashed line, so you know that one's not going to include the line underneath. But anyway, let's go ahead and finish this. We're going to find the y-intercept's usually the easiest. It's right here. This is your B. So it is a positive 2. Okay, and then if you go from one point to the next, you'll find the slope, and you go up 1 over 1. So it's 1 over 1, and this is going in a downward direction. My name is going down, so I know my slope is negative. So that right there equals a negative 1. So if I write this inequality in the form of y equals mx plus b, of course, this would be changed to an inequality. I would write it as y, put my inequality less than or equal to. My m is a negative 1, put your x, and my b is a positive 2. Now, you usually don't see the negative 1 written there, so your first equation would be y is less than or equal to negative x plus 2. Okay, let's go over here, and now we're going to write for the second equation, or inequality, All right, so you're going to need an M, a B, what type of line, and the shading. Okay, now we already know this one was a dotted line, or dashed, so we know there's not going to be an equal to, no line underneath the inequality. Okay, so let's look at which way it's shaded. Okay, here's my line right here. It is shaded this direction. And that is below the line. Okay, so my inequality would just be a less than. Okay, so knowing that, you can go and eliminate some of your answer choices. But right now, let's go find the y-intercept. It's right here. It's down 1, 2, 3, so that's a negative 3. Then go from that point to this next point. How far do I rise? And how far do I run? Well, I go up 1, 2 over 1. So it's 2 over 1. Now this time if I wrote my name on it, my name is going in an upward direction, so that's a positive slope. And a 2 over 1 is a positive 2. So if I come over here and I write it in the format of y equals mx plus b, slope intercept, I would do y, put your less than, then I have my 2 for my m, x, minus 3. So these are the two equations right here for this system of inequalities. Okay, I'm going to move down to the next one. All right, number 2. Okay, so I have two equations. Let's start with this vertical line. Okay, on one, we know we have a vertical line. Okay, so we know it's an x line. Well, you think, what is x equal to on that line? And what is x equal right there? It's a 1. Okay, now let's look at what line type and shading. Okay, it's a dashed line or dotted line. So we know the inequality is not going to have a line under it. And then if you take a look at where it is, it's shaded this way, which is left. Remember, vertical lines shade left and right. So left is actually a less than. So I'm going to put a less than. That right there is the equation of the vertical line. Okay, so now let's look at this line right here, number 2. All right, that one's got a slant to it, so I know I'm going to have an M, a B. I need to know what type of line, and that's easy to look at. It's a solid. So I know underneath my inequality, I'm going to have a line that equal to, and then which way to shade. Okay, if I were you, I'd go ahead and find the shading first. And here's the shading right here, and it looks as though it's below the line, below. Okay, so we know that that's less than or equal to. So you could go eliminate any answers that didn't have the less than or equal to if the y was on the left-hand side. All right, so we know that. Now let's go look for the b. The b is right here. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a -4. Okay, and then go from that point. How far do we have to go to get to the next point? Well, I went up 1, over 1, 2, 3. Up 1, over 3. Okay, this one is in a negative slope because it's going down if I write my name on it. So it's a -1/3. So I'm going to do -1/3 x minus 4. That's the equation for that line. The other equation was x is less than 1. So this is my pair right here for the system of inequalities. Okay, let's go to the next one. All right, number 3, this is just graphing again. This is just practicing what we did yesterday. So I'm going to take number 1, y is greater than -x plus 1. All right, so my m, it's right here. It's always the coefficient of x, or the number multiplied by x. So since there's nothing there besides a negative, we know it's a -1 over 1. B is a 1. Line type, since it's less than, it's going to be dotted. And the way I shade for less than, remember this is what I'm looking at, less than, to shade, it's going to be below the line, lower than the line. So I'm going to come over here, graph my y-intercept first. It's a 1. Then I'm going to go up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, making sure my slope of my line is in a negative direction. It's sloping downwards. Okay, then I come over and keep going down this way. It's at a diagonal. The slope of -1 or 1 is usually the one that takes the longest to graph because you hit every section. All right, there's the line, and we're shading below, so it's below this direction here. Okay, remember we're looking for where they're shaded by both, okay, the common area. So number 2. All right, this one is not solved for y. So we've got to do 2 steps. Move x, divide, divide, divide. Move x, divide, divide, divide. That's to solve for y. So I'm going to move the x, and all that really does is change its sign when you move it across the inequality. Got a -2y is less than -5x plus 6. Okay, I'm going to divide. I'm dividing by -2. So don't forget to flip. Ding, ding, ding. Flip that thing. When you are dividing by a negative, always flip the inequality. Okay, so I've got y is greater than. Negative over negative is a +5, halves x, plus in a negative, that makes that a -6, 2 goes into 6 3 times. So my m is 5 over 2. My b, my y-intercept is -3. The line type, well, I look at this greater. It's dotted. And which way do I shade for greater? Above. Okay, so I come over here and graph the -3. 1, 2, 3, right there. Then I'm going to go up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over 2. Up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over 2. Can't go up anymore, so I'm going to go over here from my y-intercept and go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over 2. Okay, it's a dotted line, but this one's kind of too dotted for me to be able to see where points are, so I'm going to put it like that. That is a dotted line. And then I'm shaded above, so that's this direction right here. It's above the line. Okay, so I'm looking for the common area because that's my solution set. So my common area looks like it starts along here, hits the blue line, and goes up the blue line like here, and then it's all that area right there. So all of this, and it keeps on going. Okay, that is my solution set. This is my solution set right here. Okay, since this blue line is dashed, okay, or dotted, if that is, the points land on that line, then they're not part of the solution. Same thing with this pink line. It's a dashed or dotted line, so they're not part of the solution. Okay, so let's go look at my problem down here. It says determine which point is in the solution set of the system of inequalities. All right, so we're going to graph 1, 4. So I go right 1 up, 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, that point's not anywhere near the yellow, the shading, so that's not it. Then 3, 1, 2, 3 down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That one's not in the yellow shaded either. 5, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up 2. Nope. And -1, up 2. Okay, that's right there, but it's on a dashed line or dotted line. So that's not a solution. So it's got to be -3, -7. Let's go see. Over 1, 2, 3, down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And yes, that one is part of my solution.